Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So, I've been thinking, we spent so much time thinking about the features, the futuristic features of the Ioniq 5, right? All the cool safety features and everything. But there's one thing, I feel like I haven't talked about enough. And that's really important because I want to take you back to where it all started, right? So in this video, I'll be talking about, my first impressions when I got this vehicle. What I thought, what I saw, and honestly, like my first raw emotions about it. So, welcome to this ride, and I hope you enjoy the video. So the first thing that really stood out to me was the color. I thought this color I must have, I mean, yeah, that's a personal sense, right? So I thought the shooting gray color, or as they call it, the matte gray color, is unique. It's slick. It adds to the futuristicness of the vehicle. So I thought to myself, I must have it. Granted, it is true that it takes a little bit of time to maintain it. You have to be more, intentional when you clean the vehicle. So you have to have the special wash. You have to have the special coat on it. Every couple of months, you have to add on to the paint. But that's okay because to me, I feel like it's worth it. So I was happy with the exterior color. The shooting star gray was actually wonderful and worked out for me. But what next for the interior color? So most dealerships I looked at kept mentioning that this vehicle has a dark green interior color. That didn't really go with my aesthetic. And so the only thing that could help me out with that next steps was actually doing a test drive. Come see what I found out. So initially I thought that the dark green interior meant that the seats would be green and the handrest would be green and part of the dashboard would be dark green, but that's actually not the case. What dark green actually is these pieces of the door and these pieces of the door and the top part of the dashboard. So that's the dark green portion. So you can imagine my relief when I found out that the option to have white seats is also there. And my personal favorite are the white seats, or the white leather seats. I have heard from some people that they prefer black seats. Let me know what you think. I know it's a personal preference, but let me know what you think in the comments. So first thing I noticed right when I drove off from the dealership parking lot, I got on the freeway and I started heading home, was the braking system. So Hyundai Ioniq 5 has a regenerative braking system, and what that means is simply, how much the car decelerates once you take your foot off the gas pedal. And so I'll explain what that means. There's 4 levels, level 0, 1, 2, and 3. And you can set what that level is, what you're comfortable with, and you can tell how you're doing that by looking at the dashboard down here. So as you can see right now, I'm currently at level 2. And so, that level is kind of dependent on where you're driving and what you're comfortable with. So, if you have it set at level 0, that means when you take off your foot off the gas pedal, the car will basically not decelerate at all. And I think that's what I was most used to. I was used to, letting my foot off the gas and then starting to brake. That was what I was used to. But, when I got the vehicle, it was at level 3. And so level 3 basically means that, the vehicle will actually brake for you, and the brake lights at the back will come on, and the car will slow way down. And so you don't even have to put your leg on the brake. And so this is important because that helps with saving the range. Basically, think of it as, using less force energy, and it will give you more range on your vehicle when you have that level setting of 3. It's a little bit awkward, especially when you're starting off with it. It feels like, someone else is pressing the brake for you, but, you get used to it. One thing that everyone always asks me about, and is a question I had as first, was the range, right? So what is the range of the all-wheel drive SEL Hyundai Ioniq 5? It depends. That's the answer. It depends on the time of the year. It depends on how fast you're driving. It depends on a lot of things. And that's something I wish I knew more of, especially when I first got the vehicle. I had a long distance drive from where my dealership was and where my home was, so it was over 1,000 miles. Um, so you know, I was kind of naive. I kind of drove the vehicle as fast as I could, and not realizing that that actually affected what my you know mileage or my range would be. So this number you see up here is simply a predictive value. It predicts, based off of what you've been driving so far, how much mileage you have left. So, it's no assurance of how far you get. It does not mean that you for sure, like currently, does not mean that for sure I'll get to 108 miles. It's just a prediction. So if I drive like crazy and go like 70 miles per hour, I'm definitely gonna get less than that. But if I were to be smart about it and kind of drive 30 to 40 miles per hour, um, I can get more than that's the 108 that's promised. So that's a little bit about what goes into the range. So I actually ended up driving a lot faster and getting a lot less mileage and having to charge a lot more throughout my trip back than I thought I would need to. So, and another thing I'd like to mention also is that, the battery health or the battery capacity also, how much you can get from the battery depends on the time of the year. So in the summer times, I believe, you get a whole lot more mileage. And to me, it's about 326 miles or 325 miles at 100% charge rate. And in the winter times when it's colder outside, the battery is also affected by that cold. Um, I can get up 284 miles. So this is just something I got to learn. The first impression I had of it, and something I got to learn as I went, like as I drove the car and got used to it more and more. So one of the final pieces of the puzzle that actually made me fall completely in love with this vehicle is, it's the ambient lighting. Ambient lighting here, all over the vehicle, and just adds to the futuristic, techie vibe of the vehicle. And it's really cool because you can make changes to it. If you don't love blue, which is what I have right now, there's multiple ways to change it.